This week, I'm going to be talking to you about a book called Enough by Adam Hamilton. It has a little bit of age on it now, but it is a fantastic book if you want to explore the subject of stewardship, your relationship with the things that God has blessed you with. This is an important aspect of our lives that we need to explore, and tomorrow we'll discuss a little bit about what money might mean to you, and I'm going to put a link on there. There's a fun questionnaire that you can do that can help you discern how you think about money, what its primary purpose is in your mindset. And it's a great tool for discerning how we need to be wise stewards of all that God has shared with us. This last week, I came across an opportunity on Marketplace. If you don't know what Marketplace is, it's a website that's part of Facebook where people can put their items they have for sale. And I enjoy lifting weights and working out, and especially at my age, it's a good thing to do because while I'm probably not at 45 going to gain a whole lot more of my muscle, by working out, I can maintain that. And my hope is to have a long and healthy life so I can enjoy my grandkids and do the things with my grandkids that I've done with my kids, hiking and sports and that sort of stuff. But anyways, I found this workout equipment. It had the fly machine as a part of it, and a leg press, and a preacher curl, and it was just this full station. Had 4 different stations on it, and the person was selling it for a ridiculously cheap price. Now, I really wasn't looking for that exercise equipment, but when I saw it for that price, I decided I had to have it. And messaged the person, made an arrangement to come pick it up and pay the price. And I got Gabe to come with me to help me lift the thing. It was going to be in parts, but it was going to be a lot of lifting, over 300 pounds of weights, and then all the equipment that goes with it. And so Gabe and I drove to Fort Wayne, and the deal fell through. The person, once I got to their place, they refused to respond to me, and then later I saw that they'd sold it out from under me, hadn't bothered to tell me. And I was unhappy, and all of a sudden I needed this thing that 24 hours before I had no desire to seek out. But all of a sudden now I need to have it. And this is our relationship to stuff. I quickly adjusted my mindset, and I'll tell you about that at the end of our time. But I want to read to you from Adam Hamilton's book, Enough, as he talks about our relationship to stuff and what the world says about it to us time and time again, and what Scripture says. Natural disasters remind us that everything in this world is temporary. And so we've been going through sort of a natural disaster here recently. If our stuff is taken away by bankruptcy, or plundered by thieves, or blown away by a tornado, or burned in a wildfire, we must remember that material things are only temporary. When I'm gone, most of my stuff will be outdated, worn out, or simply of no value to anyone else. And think about your stuff. Think about what that is true of. Either hawked in a garage sale or thrown in the trash. This is why I can say, with Jesus, my life does not consist in the abundance of possessions. That's found in Matthew in the Sermon on the Mount. I believe that. I believe it. First, because Jesus said it. I also believe it because somehow I intuitively know that it's true. But there is a problem. Everywhere I turn, the world is telling me that it's not true. The world continually tells me that my life does consist in the abundance of my possessions. I am bombarded with messages such as, if you had a little bit more, you'd be happier. If you had this thing that you currently do not have, you'd find more satisfaction in life. That's where I was finding myself. If you had a bigger house, or a nicer car, or more fashionable clothes, you'd be happy. At least happier than you are right now. He goes on, each of us is bombarded with messages such as these daily. I want you to listen for those messages today and throughout this week, for those messages that tell you you'll be happier with this. I want you to take those and, as Scripture tells us, hold that thought captive. Don't let it run away with you. Well, Jesus is telling us that our lives consist of more than money or things. The culture is shouting that it is not true. The result is a wrestling in our hearts. Despite the fact that we say we believe Jesus' words, we still find ourselves devoting a great deal of our time, talents, and resources to the acquisition of more stuff. And if you see that, and you were with us last Sunday or watched last Sunday's message, you know the difference between belief and faith. Faith puts our beliefs into action. And it's not the works that save us, but when we truly believe what Jesus is saying, then it becomes faith because we live or we modify our lives according to His Word. If we just believe it, and we know it's something that maybe we should do, but we don't do it, we're not putting our trust in His Word. We say that our lives do not consist in the abundance of our possessions, but we live as if they do. I would ask you, along with considering those messages that you hear this week and marking them where the world is telling you more will make you happier, to look back at purchases you've been making recently, or the things that you have acquired, and ask yourself, are you living under a belief structure that says, yes, Jesus, you're right, but you're living out a different reality? Or are you putting faith in Jesus and trusting Him and His Word about stewardship? We'll talk a little bit more about what that means for us in the next couple days of our devotional series on Enough by Adam Hamilton. But to get back to my story, my personal story. So yeah, the person strung me along, and we drove all the way to Fort Wayne. It was a 50-minute drive there and back. So I wasted 2 hours. Not only that, I waited for about 40 minutes trying to message this person, trying to receive some kind of communication from them so that I could pick this object up. And it fell through. I had this wrong desire in my heart. And on the way home, I had to check myself and say, well, you big dummy. You didn't want this thing before. And you've wasted basically 3 hours of your evening to get it. What does that teach you? And then another voice spoke up and said, but you know, you didn't entirely waste this, not by a long shot, because you just spent 3 hours driving and talking with your son. And so I had there that perfect imagery of, I could have maybe just picked something a little more engaging for me to do with Gabe and my other kids and spent all that time doing that, but at least it was redeemed because I spent that time with Gabriel. And my values then needed to be realigned with the values that Jesus has for each of us. May your values be realigned today to experience stewardship that is godly and remind you of what is truly of value, so you don't waste your time, you don't waste your money on things that the world tells you you need but will not make you happy. Be blessed, be a blessing, go in peace.